welcome to Iconic Brands. In this edition, I've got Colin. This is
Hello.
Colin, who's the owner of, he'll tell you.
A 1962 Ford Consul Classic two-door.
Yeah, and we're going to have a look at it today. I'm quite excited about this because it's quite a special one in many ways.
I've owned it for approximately 6 years. I brought it from a young lady named Jane from the other side of London. I went down to see it and I was impressed with the bodywork, that it's still got the original inner and outer sills and original floors.
That's fantastic. And what made you buy this type of car? You always wanted one?
Way back in the late 70s when I started my apprenticeship at Hangar Fords, one of these vehicles came in and I was impressed with the lines and the shape of the bodywork, and I've always wanted one, and this came along and I thought, yes, I'll have this toy.
Fair enough, mate. I always love these cars because they've got those stars at the front. And you got the 5 stars at the front. I don't know what that. Do you know what those mean, Colin, or at all?
I don't know what the 5 stars mean, but the story goes, from what I know, is that Ford of England asked Ford of Detroit to design a car because in the 70s, as we all know, we were all going American lines, American shapes. They sent the design of the Anglia over to the States and says, build us a vehicle, and this is what you can see is the Ford Consul Classic 2-door, 4-door and Capri. It came about from 1961 to 1963, and this is a 1962 variant. It has been not heavily modified, but it's not as standard is, but in my estimation it's still on the road and I still drive it to the shows, etc.
Oh, great. It's an interesting paint job you got there, Carl. Can you tell us who did the paint job and a little bit about the
again, Jane down in London had the paint work done with a guy. It's a candy pearl red, which is that you get the paint as a powder and you mix the powder with a clear lacquer, and then you just spray it on. There is a base coat of black behind that, and then you have the red candy pearl, and that sprays on that, and that gives you the glistening in the sunshine.
Okay, yeah, it's an interesting. Let's have a look then, Carl, at your car. And so, what kind of work have you done to this yourself? I mean, did you buy it like this, or have you?
Yeah, when I had it, it was a sort of non-runner, and I've always been a spanner man for 50 odd years. So I've stripped the front suspension, had it all redone. I had the rear axle redone. I took the rear springs off and had them retempered so it sat better, because I didn't like the rake of the car. It wasn't driving correctly. And then as per typical Ford gearboxes, they were always jumping out of fourth. So I found a gearbox down in Kingsley, shot across there, came back and took the gearbox out, stripped the 2 gearboxes completely and built a good one out of the 2 gearboxes. So yeah, I'm a spanner man more and more.
I've noticed you've got the chrome trim around the window screen. Has it been de-seamed at all? It looks like, was that already taken off? Is there supposed to be a trim around there?
Because it's so old, it's not a pristine body, and it's had some body work done, and to fit the chrome edgings, they won't fit because certain parts of the body have been welded and filled in, so you can't really fit the chrome parts on. It would turn out to be an extremely expensive job to fit all the chrome trims that you can see.
Yeah, interesting. So let's have a look inside then, Carl. Let's have a look in the cabin and see what we got. Wow, look at that. I mean, look at that upholstery.
Yeah. Again, we refer back to Jane. She had all the trim done by an old retired trimming guy, and he did all the trimming for her, and it was all in the boot when I got it, and I refitted it all. I've had the carpets done, etc. As we all know, when we buy a car, we look at the registration and we look at the letters and we think of a name that corresponds to the letters. Well, as you can see, the only letters we've got on this is FN, and we thought about it, and then my great wife turned round and says, we'll call her Fanny. So each and every time we go to a show or when we're going out, people say, have you been out in Fanny? And we'll say, yes, we've got her out for a ride. So yes, that's where Fanny comes from, because it's FN on the registration number. Other people are quite shocked sometimes when we say that, but there you go.
So I'm glad to hear that you keep the car well oiled and lubricated, Colin.
Yes.
You keep your Fanny well oiled.
Oh, we certainly do. Yes. It's well maintained. Yes, well maintained.
Just love that. What I absolutely love about these cars, it reminds me of the Batman car, the Batman Mobile. If you look at that angle now that I'm looking at, if you paint that black, it just looks like the Batmobile, and that's how I remember it. And that's why I love these cars as a kid, because it always reminded me of that. Which brings me to the wheels, Colin. They almost look Bat-esque to me, Carl. So tell us a little bit, where'd you got the wheels from?
The older school guys that have worked on these vehicles and on Fords over the years and on various classic cars will know that these are the old aluminium wolf race wheels that we used to fit. And that's what these are. These are the wolf race wheels. These are the original alley wheels that we used to put on the vehicles.
Oh,
so
right,
yeah,
okay.
it's got wolf race wheels on.
It's interesting.
Yeah, and again, it's a standard 1600, but the engine that's in it is out of a 1968 Mark II Cortina, so it's been slightly modified.
Great. And it goes well, Carl?
It goes really well. It always starts first time on the button. After a few, when it's not been run for a few weeks, she has a few coughs, but otherwise, once she's up and running and going down the road, 60, 70, no problem.
Brilliant, yeah. And it stays in fourth, I take it now, Carl?
It certainly does stay in fourth, yes. When you drive modern cars, you build the revs up and you're in fourth, and you automatically in your brain think, where's fifth? Because the revs are there for it, but it's not there in reality.
All over the country there's this kind of memorabilia in garages and sheds. Maybe some of the eagle-eyed viewers have noticed, but just look at that. Tell us about your shirt, Carl.
The shirt matches the car. It's a photo that I took of the car and I sent it away to a manufacturer, and this is what they came back with, and it's the picture on the shirt is the actual picture of the car itself. It does call a few comments when we go to the shows, and I get asked to who was the supplier, etc. So I'm always willing to supply that.
Isn't that great? He's got a picture of his Fanny on his shirt. And he's even got his registration number on there and everything. Isn't that great? Personally, I haven't seen that before, but that's a great idea, great marketing. I hope you've enjoyed this issue of Iconic Brands, and it surely is an iconic brand that Colin owns. And I'll thank you, Carl, for showing us today. You're a fantastic car, and I look forward to seeing you.
Thank you very much for your time.
A future show as well, we can have a little bit more of a look. But this is Colin's Man Shed, and thanks very much again for...
Thank you very much.
For showing us. Thank you. I just love these old Capris. No, they're not. It's not a Capri, is it? It is a Capri.
No, it's a classic.
It's a classic. I'll get it wrong.
The Capri is the one with the sloping back.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah.
So,
It's definitely
my
not
mistake. similar related videos on iconic brands. Please help the channel thrive by subscribing, and this will encourage me to make more videos like this one.